the amount of getting up and sitting down, I was mind blown. I was like, from the opening act to the whole thing. I was like, did y'all not pee before you? Like what?
Well,
What it is, what it ain't, what it do, what it don't. Welcome back, Doodads Podcast. Thank y'all for coming in, checking us out, being a part of this little roller coaster ride. Man, audio and stuff like here recently in the last couple episodes, this has been quite an interesting little experiment.
yeah, buddy.
If you can. Go ahead, like, subscribe. Find us at YouTube, our YouTube channel, Official Doodads Podcast. Official Doodads Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, wherever you can find us. Do it. Hit the bell, hit the dinger. Tell us you like us, tell us you hate us. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. Jeez. I'm over here just thinking about everything that was recorded prior to
Brandon took us on a quick little tour of a day in the life of Brandon in Vegas.
in the year 2016.
Yeah, in the year 2000. And apparently there were some former exploits and experiences that we're like, all right, well, cool. Now that that's out of our system, let's go ahead and start.
Talk about fatherhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, last week, look, man, Ken forgot to press the audio, so don't do that.
Joey, this is your double check. We're recording? All right, good.
Still recording.
Still recording.
So we're unsure as of right now until you see this what will actually end up on here.
Yeah, God only knows, but that's okay. Where were we at? Game 5, Boston up by 20 at the half. It's over. They waited. Why would they not? Why would they not go home and win it?
I don't even understand the idea of like, hey, but we got to win one, like we don't want to get swept. And it's like, but you did.
Pretty much.
Like, yeah, I mean, you got a game, but
yeah, you got waxed.
You got
waxed. Very interesting weekend in sports between College World Series, U.S. Open, College World Series, 3 of the 4 games, correct? Friday. Walk-offs. Had another one on Saturday. Very exciting games. I was a little bit upset to see Tennessee beat.
I'm pulling for the Seminoles, man.
This doesn't have it. This has nothing to do with them beating LSU, but I really would like to see UNC win. I think that they've got some mojo, and I like Vance Honeycutt.
I like Vance Honeycutt. He's a dude.
He's a guy.
He is a
dude.
But there's a buddy of mine, Greg, who he'll just make sure. Like I saw him Wednesday night. I saw him Wednesday night, and he was with his powder blue and his Tar Heel Ram horns, and I'm just like, whatever, eat a big bag.
I just felt like watching that series when or that regional. I just felt like they had that it. I just don't.
Well. So, and something I was listening to, actually, that was quite interesting. It was very true. It might have been Hunt Palmer or somebody, but they were saying, like this year we just didn't have like that guy,
right.
No matter what. Even Hayden Travinski went into a slump last year in the Super Regionals and into the World Series. But yet he delivered when it was done. Cade Beloso, Tommy White, even as a first-year transfer, he was kind of a guy. But like Dylan Cruz, even Paul Skeens, 1 year with us. But like there were rally cap wearing, like vocal dugout guy. Like there were, your sideline cheerleaders, your people who are like, it's okay, boys. It's not over. Go ahead. We're going to get this. You're going to take 2 on this next one. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We didn't have that. But like North Carolina, Vance Honeycutt, I keep wanting to say Jack Caglione from Florida, but Castelloni or
not the shortstop, Maybe
first
catcher. The catcher.
No, I think he was maybe first baseman. But anyways, they had a couple of guys on UNC that it was like clockwork. They're like, that's okay. Yeah. It's all right. We're gonna get there. Like this one's yours. You're gonna get good wood on the ball. This is you. You know, like
don't say good wood.
Well, they use aluminum.
No, and I don't know, man. It's like, but you're right though, and I do feel like there was a lot of national championship hangover for LSU this year, and you basically are only bringing back Tommy White as far as high level contributing player. You're Pearson,
Hayden Travinski,
but to your point, like you gotta there's gotta be for me watching, there were too many questions. There was too many in that regional, it wasn't like, oh, okay, Tommy White had a terrible regional. He had clutch moments that he did not come up clutch, and that's baseball, and I mean, I felt like in the clutch moments, UNC's guys, that Gavin Gallagher kid, that freshman third baseman, stud, obviously Honeycutt, and I mean, dude, how do you not just wheel birds with the last name Honeycutt? Your name is Vance Honeycutt. You're wheeling birds, dude, as the kids say. But anyway, how was your Father's Day? Shout out real quick, Rory McIlroy, buddy. It's going to be okay. We still love you.
The meme that I saw, which is the Happy Gilmore putt, and just go home.
Yeah.
Get in the hole. The hole is your home.
He was 467 or 468 of 468 putts inside of 3 feet so far this season. There was that miss on whatever 16.
I said, I remember because it popped up on my memories. It was just 2 days ago, 2009. I was picking up my parents from their trip to Ireland for the first time, and my mom was telling me, "Oh, there's this young boy they're telling us about. Mm-hmm. Oh, his name's Rory Mac or somebody. He's apparently, and man, outside of 1 or 2 majors, it's what a disappointment. Man.
Yeah,
kind of sucks, man.
I was happy to see your boy win it, the mad scientist.
Old Bryson
Yeah, he's a weirdo. He's a weirdo, but he's.
You have to play golf. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I played. Dude, do you see you didn't have to adjust any of the settings on my skin tonight, did you? Because your boy got some tan Thursday and Saturday playing golf. It's hot. Probably won't play again this summer because it's real hot. But, yeah, I don't know. It'll be all right. Congratulations to your boy Bryson DeChambeau. And shout out the Boston Celtics for winning their, 18th NBA championship. Because that's what I think is going to happen. But how was your Father's Day? How was your weekend?
Relax. Didn't do a whole lot. I'm trying to actually think of what. So I woke up. Courtney was like, "What do you want for breakfast?" I was like, "I don't really care." We're so different in those fields. She's just so things, and I'm just time and us. That's what I care about. I just built a fort.
I saw that. I saw that.
Built a fort.
That.
Look,
it was a good fort.
Yeah, and it kept kind of sliding on one end of the blanket, so I went and got a broom.
Oh, okay.
Put the broom in the middle, kind of posted up, and I was like, I think we're cooking with grease now.
Yeah, we Julia calls them pillow castles, and it's kind of sad because I would build pillow castles in the living room with those couch cushions and the couch cushions from what's now the playroom, what used to be the little sitting area, and we got rid of that couch, and so I'm having, I'm short on materials. So the supply chain there's a hiccup in that as far as materials for building pillow castles. So I'm having to reevaluate how to do that. But she's asked a bunch of times to build a pillow castle. I told her I would build one tonight, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it. But I had a somewhat of a sad moment this evening. It's not sad, it's also happy, but it was just a moment of change. And I'm not a huge fan of change, but Jamie went to do her thing tonight, and we did not go to Chick-fil-A tonight because it was a punishment, because she She shoved one of the girls at Camp KK today. Which, by the way, shout out to KK's Creations. Shout out to my mom who made me this awesome shirt for Father's Day. One of my favorite shirts she's made. Probably my favorite shirt she's made.
I think it's kind of presumptuous of KK to actually say that Brady's going to be a righty.
That's very observational of you. Is that a word? Observational? Observatory? That's where they look at the stars, huh? That's the planetarium. Anyway, thank you, Mom. I love this shirt. I wanted to wear it tonight.
It's a great shirt.
It's a good shirt.
Good stuff.
But no, so she shoved one of the little girls at Camp KK today, and I told her before she even went this morning, I said, listen, if you treat her any type of way, if there's any issue whatsoever today, we're not doing Chick-fil-A tonight, because like it's becoming a thing to where I feel like we talked about recently, that like if the consequences aren't consistent, nothing is going to change. And it's just not, I mean, you know, like I don't want my kid to be a bully. I don't want other children to not want to play with my kid because she's a bully. And I feel like it's my responsibility to step in at some point. And like, you know, Jamie does really good at explaining and having, you know, like mother-daughter mentor type moments. And so anyway, she shoved her, and I just so happened to be there because I went to pick up my brother. We got my stepdad a new recliner, so we had to go pick that up and deliver it for him, whatever. And I just so happened to be there when the shoving occurred, and I said, okay, we're not doing Chick-fil-A tonight. End of story. Like, we already discussed this. Not only did you do it, you did it right in front of my face. Anyway. So we didn't do Chick-fil-A. I made breakfast for dinner, and we had a picnic in the living room. Just lay down a beach towel and ate dinner, picnic in the living room. And she said, Daddy, I think for date night from now on, I want to just put a towel down in the living room and have a living room picnic, and you can just cook something for us. And I was like, okay. She was like, I mean, we've been to Chick-fil-A a bunch of times. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Like, what do you want me to cook? She says, steak. I'm like, okay. So now I'm on the hook to cook steak on Monday nights for my my 4-year-old.
From Jesus' chicken to the devil's meat.
You should put that on a t-shirt, Mom. The devil's meat. Oh, man. There's so many different things that could be titled that. But yeah, it was, you know, part of me was a little bit sad. Part of me was like also a little bit like, thank God, because it was on days where I had a super busy Monday, and then like we would do Chick-fil-A, and then we would do this, or I would be waiting for Jamie to get home or whatever, and then I have 3 inspection reports to write, and it'd, you know, be 9:30 before I got started. It was a lot. But I also feel like it's, you know, it's her thing. If she told me she wanted to like eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and go for a walk around the block every month, like this is our date night, and whatever you want to do, we're gonna do. So little shift in the Monday night game plan from here on out. We'll see how long it lasts. But I also felt like it was a little bit of a manipulation of like, hey, listen, Chick-fil-A, you took it away from me. It was a punishment. I'm gonna spin it on you, and we're just not gonna do it anymore.
I mean, yeah, I it could very much be, yeah.
It's just horseshit.
Well, and again, I think, yeah, trying to correct any sort of behavior that endorses like hurting someone else, hurting their feelings, whatever, because that's not what we're trying to do.
Right. Right.
You know, Ben's whole thing right now, he gets in the car and he goes, you know, my friends, they don't want to play with me. And I say, why? Because, you know, I got my police car. You know, he has this little toy car. Somebody's like, and they want my car. And I'm like, oh, you don't want to share.
Right.
He's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, but so you know how every time Daddy's got food, like every time, not Mommy, not Sissy, but when Daddy's got food, every time you all of a sudden need to have a bite of it. I was like, do I ever say no? Do I even wince? Like at the moment that you come crawling up in my... No, I gladly share my food with you. You know, like sharing, there's nothing wrong with that, and it's healthy, and it's okay to, you know. And I think that, you know, any opportunity to try to quell that kind of thinking and behavior is always good. And yeah, if in the long run that means that we're now hanging out more, then great.
Right.
Because I'm trying my best when he's like obviously having a problem with sharing, because he is in a lot of ways an only child.
Mm-hmm.
His older sister is 11 years older than him, and a lot like me and my sister, who's 9 years older than me, we were real cool for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And then eventually she became way cool.
Right.
Because she was a teenager.
Right.
I became like a real pain.
Yeah.
And then we didn't really have anything in common for 20 years.
Yeah.
And so like I get it, like he's kind of an only child. So I do realize also when he's like, and it also just warms my heart, but he'll be like, "Daddy, will you play with me?" And I'm just like, "Of course."
Mm-hmm.
Like he was like, "I want to build a fort." It's Father's Day, right? Like I'm supposed to not have to do anything. I'm supposed to be able to. I was like, "Let's go, bro!" Like
right.
We are about to take down whoever you say they are. We're taking them down, bro. Let's go. Because I want him to be able to play with others. I want him to, because that goes into like early development and like 20 years down the road, working in an environment where you've got coworkers and might have to have group projects, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's and I get it. It is tough because, I told my mom today, I feel like she is a lot like my youngest brother. Like my youngest brother would get so aggravated with like his peers because he felt so much smarter than or more advanced or mature or whatever, which maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. There's a 12-year age gap there, so I was probably not paying a whole lot of attention. But, I feel like that's likewise with Julia. Like she does really well with older kids because she looks up to them, and she does really well with younger kids because she big sisters them. But like the ones her age, she struggles to get along with, I feel like. And I mean, she has been the center of attention for all 4 years that she's been walking Earth. And, so I think Jamie and I were talking about it today too, like a friend of ours that has a daughter, a year and a half-ish or so, maybe 2 years older than her. And they just had a baby back in January, I want to say. And she was just telling her, I guess, that like when the baby came, like the girl, she had no choice but to like accept and learn how to entertain and occupy herself, because it was like there's not enough hands, there's not enough eyes, there's not enough attention for it to always be on you all the time. And so, we'll see. It'll be good, but I don't, because I was borderline. I was a bully, some might say. Some people who may come across me on the internet may remember me from like 04, 05 and think I was a real bully, which, I was very insecure as a kid, and that manifested as like bullying people. Like I was really good at sports and otherwise felt really uncomfortable in my own skin, and so I took that out on other kids by making them feel uncomfortable in their skin. And like I remember one time I got in trouble because I told a kid that if he didn't jump in the trash can himself, I was going to throw him in the trash can. And so he jumped in the trash can and then told the teacher that I threw him in the trash can, which isn't what happened. But I guess at the end of the day, it's somehow still my fault. But I don't want that to be Julie. Like I want her to learn how to play with her peers. I want her to learn, like you said, just like to cooperate and like, we talked.
Peed in the trash can.
Same one that the kid jumped in?
I don't know. In first grade.
Okay. No, this was many years later. But yeah, we went to freaking, it's whatever. I was pretty bent out of shape about it at the time, but we took her to the movies on Sunday. We went to go see If.
Oh, how was it?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. We got there, and roughly 7 minutes in, Julia had to pee. So I took her to the bathroom, and then roughly 15 minutes later, she turned to Jamie and she said, "Mommy, I'm bored. Can we go to the arcade?" So I have no idea how it was. And I was extremely aggravated because I was like, this is just a complete waste. Why do we do this? But I get it. It was like, it was mostly human. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't really get to the animated,
imaginary friends.
Right. It was like very slow at the beginning. Like even I was kind of like, all right, and then Ryan Reynolds pops in, and you can tell like when we left, it was probably starting to build and get good. And instead, my mood changed quickly when we went into the arcade, and I maxed out all 3 skee-ball machines on bonus points, and they wouldn't give me any more tickets. We ended up with like 2,900 tickets, which will win you a Chinese finger trap at the movie theater, arcade, gift shop, or whatever it's called. It was fun. It was a good time. She enjoyed it.
Did she?
I did. No, she did. She loves it. She just runs around like a crazy person.
I think I'm trying to think. Aubrey was maybe 7. She might have gone to a movie before then with Courtney, but like we got together when she was like 5. But I distinctly remember we went to go see Zootopia. And that was like the first where, yeah, it was Zootopia, and then it was A Pet's Life. And it was just that perfect age. Now, yes, it was fully animated,
right?
But it was just she was at that age where she was wanting to zone in and pay attention,
yeah,
and actually keep up with what was going on. She wasn't just watching pops, right. Things that pop that just catch her attention. She wanted to watch the story. She wanted to keep up. And so, that's one of the things with Ben where I realize, I think right now, like building forts and especially when he's like, he watches, on Disney, the Marvels, Spidey and his amazing friends. It's like the little kid Spider. Version. Yeah, and so I'm Spider-Man. Look, I'm gonna go get Doc Ock and all that. And he's running around the house and he's using his imagination and he's playing and he's like, "Daddy, you got to come beat up the bad guys." I'm like, "Let's go, bro." Yeah. And I'm swinging at nothing. Well, I'm probably swinging at something. I don't know.
You definitely, you're helping him out.
And I'm giving a 2-piece to the back door, whatever. Right. But like, that is him developing his imagination and his ability to play and all that. Because also that is when somebody says like, "Hey, I don't want to play right now," or "I don't want to do," or whatever, then, he's got to learn how to deal with that. Yeah. He's got to learn how to use his imagination and play and all that. But I do look forward to watching movies with him because he'll watch TV shows, but that's because they're like 15 minutes tops.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember it might have been earlier this year or something, but I feel like I tried to put on something and he loves Spider-Man and like the Spider-Verse Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. He's like, "I want to watch Spidey," and I'll put it on, but like 30 minutes in, he's
well, that's
like running around. So
we've taken her.
I think it's just an age,
It is, and I think like it was a random thought of like she may like like we've taken her to the movies a couple of I think this was maybe the 3rd or 4th time, but like the first time we took her was to see Trolls, which her birthday party theme, she's obsessed with Trolls, and like she had watched all of the other Trolls, and this was the new one where with the Brozone and like NSYNC was coming back, and and so there's music constantly throughout it and all this other attention holding, and she just anything that has to do with singing and dancing she's all in for. And so that was this was just a different type of, I don't think she would have wanted to watch this movie at home either. It was just something to do, and it was going to be raining and whatnot. But yeah, it's but it's weird because then also she's gone through phases where she's obsessed with the old Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movies, like Billboard Dad and whatever the soccer one is, and I can't remember some of the she Parent Trap with the remake with Lindsay Lohan, not the one from your time, the one from my time.
My time.
Yeah, the original.
Haley Mills.
Maybe it's in black and white.
The 60s.
Okay, so a little bit before your time, but like
a little bit.
Yeah,
it's like 20 plus years, bro.
Yeah, but like okay, well, you know what I'm trying to say. The first one, the original, some would call it the BK version, the before Carl. I'm talking about the AK version, the after Carl.
I'm sorry, geriatrics. What?
I don't even remember. She likes the human movies every so often, but I don't know. It was fine. It was really no sweat off my back. It was cool. I still got to go home and sit in my chair and, made a big fat ribeye for dinner, which was nice. A little steak.
Yeah, I mean, Courtney cooked a little dinner. Like, we just didn't do much. I went and checked on my dad, went and hooked up with him for a little while, visited him, brought him a key lime pie because if you want to know the way to Dr. Schumann's heart, it is
key lime pie.
Key lime pie.
Really? That's interesting. That's not usually a fan favorite. I mean, I know people like it, but most people go apple, blueberry, peach cobbler.
My dad's
pineapple upside down cake.
Like super Catholic, South Louisiana. Like
those Catholics love their key lime pie.
Well, I'm just saying, like he comes from like lemon icebox pie, big spread, mint julep type. Like it's real,
dude. My grandmother, my stepdad's mom, Honey, she used to make a pistachio pie, and it was. Have you ever had pistachio pie?
I don't know that there's much pistachio anything that I've had that I want to have.
It's so good. I'm gonna make it for you one day. Just randomly, I'm gonna bring you a pie.
You ever seen Back to the Future 2?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen parts of the Back to the Futures intermittently, but like never sat down and actually watched them.
Every time we do this show, I become more and more disappointed with you. No, there's this scene, and they're like in the cafe, and so now he's in Back to the Future 2. He's like in the future rather than the past. So he went 30 years into the future, which is 2015, which come to find out wasn't anything like this. However, it was kind of funny because October 15th it's considered Back to the Future Day, and October 15th, 2015, it was like, and the Cubs were actually in the NLCS. They, of course, got swept by the Mets. But the following year, they did win the World Series. And in Back to the Future 2, they're like, oh, and the Cubs won their third World Series. And, and he's like sitting there and he's looking at it, he's like, yeah, right. Like there's no way. But they're in this cafe, and I'm giving references to things you probably have no clue about, like Max Headroom. You know anything about Max? For those Gen Xers who remember Max Headroom and all that from the early MTV days, you know what I'm talking about when, Marty goes in and he's like, let me get a Pepsi, and the two Max Headrooms, it's like Michael Jackson and Ronald Reagan, and they're all like talking, and one of them goes, the pistachio. So that's all I think about anytime somebody says pistachio. So I went through all that to bring up some reference that you have no clue about because it was in my brain and I had to say it.
That's okay. That's what we're here for.
I'm sorry.
How was your dad that day? Was he good? Was he all right? Chilling? Just enjoying?
Yeah, him and my sister went to brunch, and so she took him out to eat. We're all going to the beach in late July. Okay. Me, Courtney, the kids, my sister, her kids, my dad.
Damn.
We're gonna get
party.
Yeah, we're trying to catch the sharks just as they're rolling out.
Dude, I love going to the beach. We went last year, and it was Julia's first beach trip. And then, we were making it a thing to go every year as a family. Well, this year, Jamie would be 7 months pregnant, and
gotta get that fetus tan.
He'll be a quarter Colombian, so I think that's how that math works. Her dad is Colombian. That makes her half Colombian. That would make him a quarter, right? An eighth?
Yeah.
Enough.
That's
enough to
Aubrey.
Be more complected than me.
Because her grandfather is Mexican.
Okay.
Her dad's 50. She's quarter.
Yeah, it's simple math. But no, I don't know. Then again, I also think about the sharks, and I don't know. But the sharks are always there. Is the funny part.
I've never really heard about them like this.
No,
this is just multiple.
Dude,
sightings, attacks, all sorts.
Michael was at the beach. Was it last week? Maybe the week before last. I don't know. Recently, when there was 3 attacks in one day, and the lady lost her arm and all.
Yeah, one of them lost
right in front,
and one of them lost a hand. I'm like, Ben would be a snack.
Right. Yeah,
Bruh.
I know. I remember when we went last year. We were sitting on the beach, and both of my brothers were like out yonder doing whatever, searching for sand dollars or something. And there was a group of people in the water, and they're all pointing. And I'm sitting up on the beach just hanging out, and I look out at where they're pointing, and it's two sharks. And they're like yelling at my brothers, who they don't know their names. They're just yelling at this point. And everybody looks at me like the most obviously able-bodied human to go out there and save their lives. And I got up and started walking and I'm just like, what am I going to do at this point? Just go become a dessert, And thankfully, I think they were probably harmless, or maybe even dolphins, but I'm pretty sure they were sharks. But they just swam right past them. But still, I think about it was just a lucky day for those two.
I sit there and I think to myself, because I think as a man, probably as a father, as a spouse, anything as an adult, once you are provider, protector, any of those roles, I don't care who you are, you automatically play the scenario in your head and if he was to walk up to the car and he reached for something, this is what I would do, and I'd be prepared, and this is how I would. But then it's got to actually happen. And it's I want to tell myself, if we were at the beach and there'd be a shark, this is what I would do. I'd grab Ben and I'd get Aubrey and I'd make sure Courtney, and I'm in my head, I start seeing myself just going, just good, run.
Yeah.
Screaming high pitched, just grabbing.
That's one of those things.
Probably random kids too.
Yeah. Yeah. This isn't Ben. Who are you? Yeah. You don't know. Because I did the same. I'm like, yeah, okay. We can get. I did it at the movies. I'm like, okay, we can get out this way. There's this. These are the people immediately in front of me. These are the people immediately to my left and to my right. Assessing the risk in every situation as best as I can. But you just hope in those moments that your instincts kick in and, your years of training.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll never know. Well, hopefully we'll never know. Hopefully we'll never have to find out. The toys in the bathtub fell off the wall in the middle of the night the other night, and so I, again, cleared my house with the pistol, thinking somebody was breaking in, and only to find it was the basket of toys that suctioned to the shower enclosure, and they'd suction it. It's not the first time that I've done that. It's not the first time that I've done that because the bath toys fell off the wall either. That's the embarrassing part. It's you'd think by now I'd recognize the sound, and my dog didn't even wake up, and typically he wakes up at everything.
Oh, man, we got some neighbors, bro.
Rowdy
These
ones?
Cats.
Is it the ones if you're facing your house to the right?
Yeah.
Remember these ones?
Oh, bro, and loud and cussing and yelling, and I'm pretty sure somebody is getting power bombed regularly in that house, and I'm not so sure if it's the grandma, the dad, the kid,
talk about the devil's
the baby. Dude, but it is just. And you try where as a responsible citizen is it overstepping when you're I just think I need to go next door and check. I need to go knock. I need to call the whoever. So, I've always just told, because here's the other thing. It's Courtney, she's just straight up nosy. She acts well, I'm just concerned. No, bitch, you're bored.
I just want to know.
We're in traffic. She's you need to slow down and don't go after him. You leave him. Carl, that's how people end up getting shot. Somebody cuts us off. She's reaching over, honking the horn. I'm really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? So
honking the horn for you.
Bro, it's I'm you realize who they're going to want to fight, right? It's not going to be you.
Mm-hmm.
And so she, I've constantly had to stave off her trying to get him, whatever. So somebody was dropping something off yesterday, actually, on Father's Day. I don't know, dropping a package off or whatever. And I was in the other side of the house when I came up. I was like, what's up? Because Courtney's looking out the door. Oh no, this was Saturday. Because we went to, I'll have to talk about that. We went to Matt Rife.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like I was like, what's going on? She's got her hair like in curlers and stuff, and she's like half dressed. She's like looking out the window like a crackhead, and I'm like, what's going on? She's like, somebody was doing something, and I don't know, the lady dropped something out. I just don't know what.
Courtney, you don't talk like that, by the way.
It's what I hear though. And so I was like, well, all right, whatever. So she had went and talked to the lady dropping something off, and the lady was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on in there, but I just heard a bunch of cussing, things breaking, and I was like, Courtney, just back away. Because that's the other things, like, especially with these motherfuckers you keep seeing on the news that are like, a domestic violence dispute led in interstate trafficking and murder on the high seas. Like, what? So I was just like, just leave it alone, whatever. Well, we're pretty sure the chick dropping this thing off called the cops. Because, like, next thing you know, like 3 or 4 sheriff's cruisers are outside.
Oh, wow.
And they're, like, talking to him, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. Do they smoke the devil's lettuce? Smells like it every night.
Sure.
Are
Young,
they
old? Paint me a picture.
Okay, so you're talking
these people.
Well, so you got. So I don't know, because that's the thing. Like,
sure?
I am not sure who inhabits that home. There's a early 50s, mid 50s adult male with a similar aged female. I am assuming mom and dad, or boyfriend, girlfriend, and one of them has kids. You know, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
There is what seems to be somewhere between 18 to 25-year-old male.
There's a lot going on.
Yep. And there was, when they moved, there's a lot going on. How about you pull up with Dallas Cowboys stickers with Arkansas plates and you start telling me about Utah, where you're coming from? I'm like, who are you on the run from?
Oh, so they're cousins.
What's going
They're all
on?
related is what you're
I'm
saying.
like, what in the meth factory are you? What? And so, and then there was a blonde 25-year-old or so, and she I don't see her anymore.
Blonde.
I don't know.
She said blind.
No,
That's probably what the bumps are.
no. But like, oh my god. But like, I don't know where she went. I don't know if she's alive. I think maybe. There was a little child who I see from time to time.
Also, let the record show that, like, Carl does not live in, like, the Baton Rouge ghetto either. This is just like a normal
suburb,
normal neighborhood.
I mean, it's not terrible, but look, most of our neighborhood, believe it or not, most of our neighborhood are first-time buyers. You know, a lot of young married couples having kids, much like ourselves, whatever. I like to consider ourselves young couples.
Sure.
But no, it's that, or it's like mom and dad who have since moved on or whatever, but still have the rent house and they rent it out.
Go to school or
dude,
something.
Look, when Ida came through, we had these 4 college cats that lived next door, solid as could be. Loved them, hated to see them go.
Yeah.
The power went out after Ida. They hooked up their generator, ran power over to us because they knew we had a 6-month-old. Like, solid dudes. Like, you know, couldn't carry a tune. God bless them. We were. It was like Nirvana after Kurt Cobain had shot himself. Like, if he was still trying to play, it was bad.
That would be tough.
Very tough.
It'd be a difficult thing to do.
Very tough. But yeah, so anyways, that's what we have next door. And I don't know even how we got there, but it just.
I don't either. Part of me just sat here and was like,
tell me about it.
What are we talking about tonight?
I don't know. We did go see Matt Rife. So, by the way, Courtney.
Yeah. I was waiting for this part too. I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, well, it is in the now. It is her birthday. It is your birthday. I've known you since we were kids. I went in somewhere in the cosmos and you went somewhere else, and in the contraction and expanding of the universe, we found each other and collided. And it has been the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I am nowhere near the man that I could have been or should be had it not been for you. I love you. Happy birthday. You truly are my greatest thought in a day. Happy birthday.
And in the words of happy birthday, and I would also like to pass along from my wife, who wanted to make it a point to tell you, happy birthday, Mom. Happy birthday.
That's solid work. Adieu, Mom.
Anyway,
so
Matt Rife
had tickets. He was supposed to be at the Sanger in February. Something happened. I don't know, whatever. So tickets got the dates got switched, and it happened to be for this weekend, which is like perfect for Courtney's birthday.
Yeah.
So Cherie and Jeff, me and Courtney, we went to Domenica's in the Roosevelt Hotel. Never eaten there. It was really cool. I straight up had like the little marguerite pizza. I wanted to give it a shot. She had some sort of it was actually really good, but the noodles were so long and thick, it looked like the old Chef Boyardee beefaroni.
Interesting.
And Jeff was like sitting there, he's like, I don't know if I could eat that because it looks like the cheese, whatever. But it was like really like
yeah.
Gourmet,
it's probably like
whatever.
hand rolled pasta.
Bro. Yeah. And so we all ate and hung out, and then we went and saw Matt Rife, which was really good.
So yeah, it was at Smoothie King or Sanger.
Sanger. It was good. I'm gonna tell you this, dude. I am appalled and truly like disappointed in. Maybe it happens other places, and maybe it's because my view typically is from a TV.
Mm-hmm.
But I am truly disappointed in my fellow comedy goers. The amount of getting up and sitting down, I was mind blown. I was like, from the opening act to the whole thing, I was like, did y'all not pee before you? Like, what?
Well, I had the same experience when I've been to three live comedy shows recently. The first one was at an all-black comedy club in Atlanta with me and 4 other friends on a bachelor trip, and we went. What did we do? We went to Six Flags, then we went to Hooters, and then caught a wild hair. And we were like, let's go to this all-black comedy club, which was an experience. Then I went and saw Tom Segura at Sanger, and I went and saw Chris D'Elia at Sanger. For Tom Segura, we were up a little bit higher, not really bothered by anybody, but for Chris D'Elia, I felt the same way. The whole time, people talking, getting up and down, in and out of the aisles. I was just like, I don't. It makes no sense to me. It doesn't. I don't know.
I was appalled. I was like,
it's annoying.
I mean, there are certain events where I get really offended and upset when I am, and it's sporting events, specifically football. When I go to Tiger Stadium, I don't typically sit down. You know, I just don't.
Yeah.
And 9 out of 10 times, if I'm sitting down, it is in between quarters, it is at half, or it is, I'm talking about just Les Miles, 14-10.
Yeah.
It is just molasses.
Yeah.
But I am typically like Saints, LSU. I am because I'm in it. I am a fanatic.
Right.
Like I'm a fan. And so I get really offended when people are like, oh, can you sit down? I'm like, no, I can't because my ticket costs this much.
Right.
And so I paid for it, and I'm going to enjoy this game.
Right.
For some reason, because I think they need me. But that's neither here nor there.
Sure.
But at a venue or a scene where I'm like, you sit.
Right. You're
don't
supposed
stand.
to be
There
sitting.
is no, and in fact, there's very little you need to do.
Right.
It
it's
is
actually next to nothing.
the artist
you need to do.
is going to perform.
Yeah.
And you are merely the audience.
Right.
And you are, they don't have a 12th man in like comedy.
Right. There's no chants or waves or make some noise.
Yeah. No, there's no, like, you just sit there.
So obnoxious.
So yeah, that was the one thing. And of course, everybody who had a few shots decided that they wanted to participate.
Well, and then I would have to imagine that the general fan base for a one Matt Rife is probably of the demographic that just lacks any social respect whatsoever anyway. Like the idea of like, even like, I wouldn't pee my pants, but I would push the limits of peeing my pants before like inconveniencing all of the people around me that paid the same money that I did to watch this show. But there's some people that just don't care, and I like Matt Rife.
My wife,
stuff, but I don't
who
think
is a mother of 2, literally
Peter Pants at the show.
Went to pee before we went to the show. We went to the show. It started at 7. We left out of the show by about 9:45. We got to the garage by about 10. We got out. We were home right before midnight.
And she peed.
And then she peed.
Damn. That's a bold move.
But she didn't complain. Like, I'm just saying, like, and I know my wife, like, she pees often, but I'm just like, I don't, like, what? And I don't know. I mean, maybe the beer or whatever, but I just.
It's the episode title. She pees often.
Probably. I just, it was the only thing. It was very, I kept going, like, every time I'd start to, like, really get into him, like, this cat, because it's not you in front of me. It's the one 6 from you. Yeah. So now your whole row has to stand up to let that, and I'm just like, for the love of everything sacred and holy.
Yeah. He was good, though.
He was funny. He did some good satire, and he did some work with the crowd, which is a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was good, man. He I don't know. I think sometimes he did a good job about talking about being offended, which I was really happy with. I saw something not too long ago where Jon Stewart was talking with Tucker Carlson, and it's neither like what side of the aisle you stand on or whatever, but like he was kind of pressing Tucker and saying like, you're supposed to be reporting the news and you're supposed to be, but what you're doing is you're turning into comedy, and now you're democratizing comedy, making, shows like mine, like Daily Show or whatever, you're making it where, you're using words like, don't you feel a moral responsibility? It's like, I'm on Comedy Central.
Right.
Well, I'm supposed to make fun of you and everybody, and nobody's off limits. It's to help after they get what you give them, whoever you may be. Right. You could be Rush Limbaugh, you could be Bill Maher, whatever,
right.
Anderson Cooper. The idea is that, like, by the end of it, everybody needs to decompress, and that's my job.
Right.
That's Saturday Night Live's job. That's that's all of our job, and it's gotten so sensitive that you now, news person, have turned it into this. And he did a good job about that. Like, quit being offended.
Yeah.
Let me be a comedian. Let me, when I say things, no matter whether it happens to maybe offend those in the LGBTQ community, if it offends somebody in any indigenous or person, like, bro, it's comedy. And that's what we're doing here. We're trying to do comedy because it is very tough times. Yeah. It is an era in our country where a lot of people have an opinion, and a lot of people are becoming desensitized because of the things they see, hear, feel, experience. Yeah. Maybe we just need to be able to laugh a little bit. Yeah. And laugh at ourselves. And he was good about that.
That's cool.
It was funny though, Jon Stewart, when he said in that little interview sidebar, he did say to Tucker Carlson, he said something. He was like, but you're on like C-SPAN or whatever. And he's like, you know what comes on before my show? 2 puppets who make prank calls. And it's like, because it's true.
Put it in context. Right.
Comedy, man. So it was a good show. It was good.
That's good. We're supposed to go see Tom Segura again at the end of this year in December. Possibly. Hopefully. We'll see if Frank gets his shit together.
I really wish I would have caught Theo when he came this last time. I really want to see Theo. I would love to see Tom Segura.
He was great. So the special that he just put out earlier this year, I think. Was it earlier this year? I think so. Was the set that he did when we saw him 2 years ago. He must have, I don't know.
Courtney saw Kevin Hart right after his big blow up, on like his special, like right when he was getting with The Rock and doing like Central Intelligence and Ride Along with Ice Cube and all that. So I was a little jealous she did that. I really need to catch Chappelle.
Yeah, that's a bucket list.
I really want to see because you leave something like this and you have an hour to talk. So she and I started talking about like, okay, who do we want to see now? And I was like, I really want to catch Cat Williams. She's like, you want to see Cat Williams now? I said, especially now. Especially now. I want to see Cat Williams.
That's one of those things that I've always liked. It's so funny. I'm just sitting here. We're just talking stand-up comedy. Tonight's just one of those episodes, you know? But I've always enjoyed it. And I remember Chappelle's show, obviously, when it first came out. I remember my dad liked stand-up comedy a lot, and I remember when the specials were on HBO and you had to watch them on there, and Comedy Central had specials and stuff. I mean, I was young, but going to it is very cool. It's a very it's so much different than going to a concert or seeing a band or something like that, as far as entertainment goes, and being there and just it being one part. And I've talked about it before, but that Chris D'Elia show that we saw last year it was both of them, because him and Segura are the two big ones that I've seen and been to, and it just amazes me how well they can keep things relevant and interesting and hilarious all at the same time. It's I don't know. It's
that was something I think when we talked with Derek, and I've always known to some degree that comedians are storytellers.
Yeah.
And the comedy is that they are telling the story from a perspective that most of us don't always see.
Yeah.
Like they're saying it from a viewpoint that's like, huh.
Right.
I never thought about that, and it's kind of funny.
Right.
But like the opening guy who's like, because he was talking about Biden and Trump, and he's like, look, I got no problem with whatever. He's like, I voted for Joe. Okay, I did, and I voted because he was Cool Joe. Remember, he was Cool Joe. Now he's Grandpa Joe. I voted for him when he was still alive. I mean, what they're rolling out there right now, and he's like, but look, let's not look. Trump's like, I'm pretty sure Trump's just autistic, and that's the way it is. Like any man who's got his cuff sleeves that still go down to his knuckles, and
That's great.
That's
so true though.
But it was so nobody here can be offended, and nobody here can say that they didn't know or didn't see. Like, this is me telling a story that we can all relate to. But I wanted to, I guess maybe in closing though, is to kind of touch on that, being that yesterday was Father's Day and all that. And in the last episode, we were kind of preemptively saying Happy Father's Day, but you say, oh, we're sitting here and we're discussing comedy. Old Tevin came by the hizzy on Thursday.
Shout out Tevin, happy birthday.
Yeah, dude, tomorrow it's a big day, man. Like legit daddy birthday, like first real I hit him up. I was like, happy Father's Day, bro. I was like
it's the real one.
It's so crazy when you're like, I am truly celebrating Father's Day. But we were talking about that, and he was like, yeah, man, I really don't get to do like homeboy type stuff anymore. And he's married to like a super active lady, and they've got a bouncing baby boy, got another one on the way. Very active, but yeah, I don't get to smoke cigars with my boys. I don't get to do whatever, like the little things that I think are necessary. And when we went out to eat Saturday, Jeff was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, man. I went to Jason, and Frank came over and whatever. We played some cards or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, really? You played cards?" He's like, "Not your kind of cards, man. It was like $10. We were apparently a little deep pockets for too deep for those guys." But I was like, "No, I think you missed the point. Like the camaraderie,
right?"
I think that's part of being a dad. And I think maybe that gets lost too. And I think that needs to be, we are on a quest, I believe, to redefine the idea of what a father is, that dads can be cool, dads can be sensitive, dads can be compassionate, dads can still be protective, dads can also question themselves, and dads can spend, their entire lifetime trying to reinvent and break down some old stigmas. But we're still also dudes.
Right.
You know, like
For
it
sure.
is still important for me to sit here and be like, went to the Matt Rife concert.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about it. And talk mindlessly about, because I'm just hanging with the boys. You know, I think that's super important, because I do know that a lot of guys, I talk about my dad sometimes, they become old men.
Yeah.
They just lose that, I think.
You're 100% right. Well, and that's like, you know, like playing golf. Like, yes, it was hot. Yes, but like, you know, the two people that I played with on Saturday are a really close friend of mine, and then another friend who, like, I consider a friend, but like we're just in two totally different walks, or our walks are on different streets, you know, like, but like you get in the truck and you ride 45 minutes to the golf course, and it's like you've been hanging out every day for the last 3 months. And so, like, yeah, it was hot. I didn't play all that great. I beat the shit out of both of them, but that's not to anyone's surprise, and probably spent too much money just to go sweat my ass off for 4 hours, but like worth every single penny to just talk shit and, you know, whatever, goof off, and, you know, have two dads married with children and, you know, semi-professionals in their careers, and then a third who is single and lifting weights and working on himself and professional in his career, and just like trying to focus on him becoming a better, still at the end of the day, dad or no dad, just another dude trying to be a better dude, ultimately maybe one day to be a good dad and a good husband and things like that. And it's just it is important. And like, you know, I know my stepdad played rugby for a really long time, and they would take rugby trips, you know, like they would play all over the place. They'd go to Vegas or Colorado, I think, different places, like when he and my mom first started dating. And like, that's, you know, and his rugby buddies are still, I believe, people that he's talked to or talks to, or, you know, they catch up, or, I mean, run into each other, whatever. But that's what I want. Like, I don't want to lose friendships with the guys that I was friends with before we all got married and had kids and became dads and responsible people, you know? I want to go on golf trips and fishing trips and smoke cigars and talk shit, and even if that means we can only do it once every 3 months, like, the whole point of even saying this is that, like, yeah, you're right, it is just the chopping it up is necessary to, like, decompress and, you know, maintain some level of sanity to still be good dads and good husbands.
Yeah, I think, you know,
can't talk to Jamie about Game 5. She don't give a shit.
Well, I mean, Courtney is probably looking up the score. I'll give her that. That's what I love about my wife. But I do think, you know, to the whole, you know, to speak to the whole like men's mental health thing, you know, I think it's important. You know, I do. I always think about how, you know, the once a year Vegas trip with the guys or something. You know, it's just,
you should do it.
It's one of those things where it's like, doesn't have to be everybody, but you 5 or 6 of your boys who are willing to commit every year. Yeah. And it's just like a recharge.
Well, that's like a very good friend of mine who we both know. He goes every year with his college buddies, and they go on a weekend golf trip for their fantasy football draft. And I'm like, that's cool as shit, you know, like, and we're getting there. My fantasy football league, we're getting there. The first year we didn't even do an in-person draft. And then last year we did a competition at Celebration Station to determine draft order, which your boy won. I mean, give me a break. You're going to do putt-putt. You're going to do football throws or whatever we did, basketball. I mean, come on. But, yeah, dude, that stuff it's necessary. It's hard, though. You know, it is. It's not. But is it? Is it that hard to just organize it? I want to do that before Brady's born. Like I don't know what you call it, but like, you know, Jamie and I didn't have a wedding. I didn't do a bachelor trip or anything like that. And so I want to do like and then when Julia was born, we were barely getting by, just hoping and praying we had enough money to feed this child. And now we're in a little bit of a better spot. And I want to go on like a weekend fishing trip or golf trip or something and just round up the boy. I'd like to play golf, but even if people don't want to play golf, like go to Houston for the weekend and just shoot the shit and eat good food, smoke cigars, play some golf, and then come back and put the gloves on and get that baby out of there. You know?
Yeah, man. I believe that that's necessary. I think there's something important about, like they talk about, like mom has a spa day or whatever, but like I don't know if dad has that. I know in my family growing up, dad didn't have like his day or his thing.
Right.
He went and did.
Yeah.
And I believe it's important.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I agree. There's
definitely things that I do for my own personal mental health that I think are necessary.
Yeah.
Like I go to Angola, that's a big deal for me. Like that's a big thing for me. Like I come out of there recharged and I feel like, man, like I just talked to dudes that are spending life behind bars, and I walk out and I feel like I've got some purpose in life, and I'm bringing them some joy.
Yeah.
And I'm also coming home to my family and being like, man, I'm very lucky and fortunate. And so, whatever. But the idea of just having bro time or whatever.
Yeah. It's necessary. We need to schedule a bro trip.
Yeah, man.
But anyway, I guess we'll shut it down. Get out of here. I'm sleepy. I got to get up early tomorrow. Go hit the weights. I got however many days until Julia's birthday party to get my summer body in check. But we ate scrambled eggs with cheese, bacon, and cinnamon rolls for dinner. So
for dinner, bro, I want to come over for Monday dinner.
Dude, maybe we could do that. Maybe you and Ben could come join us for Monday night date night.
Why not? Maybe Courtney could go hang out with Jamie.
It's very possible.
I think it'd be good.
That would be fun.
I don't know if it'd be good for Courtney. I don't want to even presume to say that it would be. Not that. Yep.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I love you. I love you, sweetheart. I love you. I love you. I love you. Love you, bro.
Love you too.